Students, in the last video lecture, we have discussed about self-induction and mutual induction. Now we will be learning energy stored in an inductor. So an inductor is a device which will induce EMF when connected in external circuit. Now you are taking an inductor. Inductor is similar to that of a component, a capacitor. It is a device. Resistor is a device. Likewise, inductor is also a device which you can use in electrical circuit which induces EMF. You are taking an inductor and this inductor is connected to external battery, and this is E along with a tap key. So consider an ideal inductor here, and that inductor have inductance L connected with a battery, and let current I be passing through the circuit at any instant of time t. Therefore, induced EMF in this inductor can be written as EMF induced is equal to minus L into di by dt, because we are considering instantaneous current as I at this particular instant of time, and the EMF induced is E. As there is only one component here, total voltage supplied should be equal to total voltage dropped. Total voltage dropped is across this inductor. So I can simply write E, capital E plus small e should be equal to 0, and this is E equal to minus E. Then capital E will be equal to minus of minus L into di by dt. So therefore you can write E is equal to L into di by dt. Let me take this as equation number 1. I want to calculate this here. E is equal to EMF of external battery. This is EMF of the external battery. Okay. Now, as we know, power is equal to dW divided by dt, and this power is equal to voltage into current. P is equal to VI, right? So I am writing it here. So simply you can write power P, which is equal to dW divided by dt, is equal to E into I. But what is E? E is equal to L di by dt into current I. Now from this you can write dW is equal to L into I di divided by dt. Of course, this dt and dt gets cancelled. So this dt you can cancel. So it will be dW is equal to L into I di. In order to calculate net work done, W is equal to integration dW. So W is equal to integration L into I di. Limits are from 0 to I, because current at an instant is 0. After some instant of time, current is increased to I. That's what I am taking it as I, which is L into I di is I square divided by 2. Limits are from 0 to I. This is half L I square. Therefore, work done is equal to energy stored in the inductor, and that energy stored is equal to half L I square. It is similar to equation which we have derived in capacitors. In capacitors, we have energy E is equal to Q square by 2C or half CV square. Here we have got equation. So in capacitor, we have got U is equal to half CV V square. This is in capacitor. And whereas in inductor, potential energy stored is equal to half L I square. This is in inductor. That is the difference between two equations. One is half CV square and the other one is half Li square. C is capacitance and L is inductance of the circuit, of the inductor. So energy stored in inductor E will be equal to half L I square. And the energy stored in the inductor is magnetic energy. This is magnetic energy. It is magnetic energy. And energy stored per unit volume. Energy stored per unit volume, U will be equal to energy stored is half L I square divided by volume is equal to area of cross section into length L. This is equal to I can just write it as half mu naught N square into I square, where I'll do one thing. This can be written as half L I square divided by A into length. L is length of the conductor. L is length and this capital L is inductance. You can compare this with equation . So this is, let me take this as equation number 1. We already have learnt self-induction due to a solenoid is L equal to mu naught N square into AL. Let me take this as equation number 2. Take this equation 2 and substitute in equation 1. It is mu naught N square A into L and I square by AL. AL gets cancelled. Leftover will be half mu naught N square I square. I am multiplying numerator and denominator with mu naught. So I can write it as mu naught Ni whole square divided by mu naught. So potential energy for unit volume in equal to B divided by mu naught. B square divided by mu naught, since magnetic field due to a solenoid is equal to mu naught Ni. Therefore, potential energy stored in any inductor will be in the form of, B square divided by 2 times mu naught. This is magnetic energy stored per unit volume. In case of multiple number of turns, you can take even it as potential energy stored in the solenoid. There is one difference in capacitor and as well as inductor. Inductor stores magnetic energy, capacitor stores electrical energy. And we already have derived equation for electrical energy stored in a parallel plate capacitor. It is half epsilon naught E square, where E is electric field, epsilon naught is permittivity of the medium. Likewise, in case of an inductor, magnetic energy is stored in the inductor. It is half B square divided by mu naught, where epsilon naught is permittivity. It is 8.854 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square per Coulomb square, and mu naught is equal to permeability. And permeability is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Newton meter square per ampere square meter square. This and this gets cancelled. It is Newton per ampere square. This is electrical energy stored in case of capacitor, magnetic energy stored in case of inductor. So you can connect both capacitor and as well as inductor in a circuit. This is inductor and here is a capacitor. You can connect these two. It is L and this is C. We call it as LC series circuit. So capacitor stores electrical energy, inductor stores magnetic energy. So once you are taking a capacitor, connecting it to battery, it stores electrical energy, and after that you can just disconnect the battery and take the same capacitor and connect it to inductor. So when you connect it to inductor, the total electrical energy stored in the capacitor will be discharged and it will be converted into magnetic energy in the inductor. So like this, electrical energy gets converted into magnetic energy in the inductor. Magnetic energy again gets converted into electrical energy in the capacitor, vice versa. We call them as oscillations. Energy oscillations in LC series circuit. Energy oscillations in LC series circuit. That we will be discussing at the end of this chapter. The self-inductance of a coil having 200 turns is 10 millihenry. So self-induction of a solenoid is given as 10 millihenry and number of turns is given as 200. Calculate magnetic flux through the cross section of the coil corresponding to current of 4 milliampere. Also determine total flux linked with each turn. You should calculate total flux linked with each turn. So we know whenever you are taking a solenoid, like you are taking a solenoid and you are connecting it to a galvanometer and there is a bar magnet, north pole and south pole, you can move it. As a result, flux would undergo change. You can just write N pi is equal to L into I, and total amount of flux change will be N pi is equal to L. L is 10 into 10 power minus 3, I 4 into 10 power minus 3. This gives you N pi is equal to 40 into 10 power minus 6. 40 into 10 power minus 6 Weber. Now flux linked with 1 turn will be equal to 40 into 10 power minus 6 divided by total number, and this is in Weber. So flux change pi will be equal to 40 divided by number of turns are 200, which is into 10 power minus 6, and this is Weber. It is 4 5 20. So flux change pi will be equal to 2 into 10 power minus 7 Weber. This is equation for flux change in the coil. Question. So inductance of 5 Henry. Inductance of the inductor is given as 5 Henry, and this is carrying a steady current I is equal to 2 ampere. How can a 50 volt self inductance EMF induced should be equal to 50 volt? A 50 volt self induction induced EMF be made to appear in the inductor. So in order to produce a EMF of 50 volt, what we need to do? You need to change current in the circuit, right? Self induction formula, we have equation for self induction. EMF induced due to self induction is minus L into di by dt, right? So di divided by dt is equal to minus L divided by E. You can just write it as L divided by E is di by dt. So rate of current change, if you are changing current with respect to time, then it will be inducing EMF. So I can write di by dt is equal to, what is L? L is 5 Henry, and EMF induced is equal to 50 volt. EMF induced will be equal to 50 volt, and this can be written as 1 by 10 Henry per volt. So I want to now change this. I want to change this, right? So if you are changing current in the circuit, then you will be produced with EMF which is equal to 50 volt. So EMF, yeah, this is what. In order to appear an induced EMF, you need to change the current in such a way it is equal to 1 by 10 times that of ampere per second. So therefore, current in order to produce EMF of 50 volt, current should be varied with time. Current should be variable with respect to time, and that current which is variable with respect to time can be written as like di by dt magnitude is equal to 1 by 10, and this di, what is that is change in the current, it will be 2 second into 10 is equal to dt, like 2 ampere into dt. So this is 20 ampere per second. So for 1 second, if it is being changed to 20 ampere, you can produce an EMF of 50 volt in the circuit. Yeah. So this is a network shown where A and B is, you want to calculate potential difference between A and B. In between A and B, current is passing through, and the current entering is 5 ampere at A, and it is passing through this resistor and a battery and as well as an inductor. And in the inductor, you can just write in the inductor, like I can write voltage through resistor is equal to I into R, which is of course constant. But whereas in case of voltage through inductor is equal to L into di by dt. So L into di by dt, which is I is di by dt is variable current. So increasing, that current is in the first case increasing as 1 ampere per second. So first I will write down Kirchhoff voltage law for this equation. Voltage at A minus voltage through resistor minus 15 volt minus voltage through inductor minus voltage at B is equal to 0. Do you have any doubt in this? From here, VA minus VR is equal to current passing through. It is like remaining all terms, you can bring it to the other side. VA minus VB is equal to VR plus 15 volt plus VL. So VA minus VB is equal to I into R plus 15 plus VL is L into DI divided by dt. What is resistance here? Resistance is 5 ampere. Current in the circuit is 5. Sorry, resistance is 1 ohm plus 15 plus L is inductance, that is 5 Henry. What is variable current passing in the circuit? It is 1 ampere. This is equal to 5 plus 15 plus 5, which is equal to 25 volt. This is VA minus VB. Okay. Likewise, if current is decreasing with respect to time, then in such case, VA minus VB will be equal to 5 plus 15 minus 5 into 1. This is equal to 15 ampere. This and this gets cancelled. 15 volt, I'm sorry. Right? So whenever current is increasing in the circuit, the net potential difference increases. If current in the circuit decreases, the net potential difference will decrease. So that is how when you are providing an inductor in the circuit, based on variation of current in the circuit, the total potential difference in the circuit would undergo change. Now let us see what happens when you are connecting two inductors in series. When you are connecting two inductors in series, the effective circuit can be redrawn like this. This is what total EMF which you are providing, and here you can write it as L effective, where L effective is the effective inductance of these two inductors which are connected in series. Now, as we know, we can use KVL, Kirchhoff voltage law, states that total EMF provided over here will be equal to EMF dropped across the first inductor and EMF dropped across the second inductor. So total EMF E can be written as minus L effective into di by dt, which is equal to minus L1 into di by dt minus L2 into di by dt, because all the two inductors are connected in series. In series, current will be remain same. Therefore, whatever current is changing in the first inductor, same current will be changing in the second inductor as well. Minus on both sides gets cancelled, di on both sides gets cancelled. So L effective will be equal to L1 plus L2. This is how, when two inductors are connected in series, their effective resistance, their effective inductance, of inductors connected in series is sum of individual inductance. It's equal to sum of individual inductance. That's what in series. So when inductors are connected in parallel, you can just redraw this circuit as only one single inductor connected to battery, and this has L effective. Okay, and from here you can write E is equal to minus L effective into di by dt, and that E is connected in parallel with L1 and L2. Therefore, voltage across L1 and L2 is same, but current gets divided. So as current is divided here, you can write net current I is equal to I1 plus I2. di divided by dt is equal to di1 divided by dt plus di2 divided by dt. Let me take this as equation number 1. So what is di by dt? di by dt is equal to minus E divided by L effective. di1 divided by dt is equal to, that means rate of change of current in the first inductor will be equal to voltage provided here will be E divided by its inductance L1. Likewise, di2 divided by dt is equal to minus E divided by L2. Now this total you can consider it as equation 2. Take this equation 2 and substitute in equation 1. It is minus E divided by L effective is equal to minus E by L1 minus E divided by L2. So 1 by L effective will be equal to 1 by L1 plus 1 by L2. This is how inductors, when connected in parallel, their reciprocals are to be added in order to find out net inductance of the circuit. Students, look here. Let two coils of self-induction L1 and L2 are connected in series. So you are taking two inductors. This is inductance L1 and one more inductor, its inductance is L2. These two are connected in series. So when these two are connected in series, however, their effective inductance will be L1 plus L2. But when current is passing through this first inductor, when current passes through this first inductor, there will be mutual induction in the second inductor. In this second inductor, there will be mutual induction. Likewise, when current is passing through second inductor, mutual induction will be developed in the first inductor, vice versa. Because of current in the first inductor, mutual inductance is developed in the second inductor. Because of current in the second inductor, mutual inductance is developed in the first inductor. Therefore, you can write from Faraday's law, the total amount of flux in any inductor, like for example, if I am calculating total flux change in the first inductor, how do I write flux change in the first inductor? N1, number of turns in the first inductor. Flux change in the first inductor is equal to its self-induction and mutual induction. Its self-induction is L1 I1 because current passing in its own value, and because of mutual induction, it is M12, mutual induction on 1 with respect to 2, and current passing in the second one. This is N1 pi 1. Likewise, in the second inductor, total flux change will be N2 pi 2, which is equal to, because of self induction plus mutual induction, right? That is flux change. As we know, E1 and I can write EMF induced in the first conductor will be equal to d pi 1 divided by dt, which is equal to minus L1 into di1 by dt minus M12 into di2 by dt, because EMF induced is equal to minus d pi by dt for n is equal to 1. Number of turns in the coil is 1. Similarly, EMF induced in the second one will be equal to minus d pi 2 divided by dt, which is minus L2 into d, this is I1, sorry, this is I2 divided by dt minus M21 into di1 divided by dt. Here also N2 I am taking it as 1. Here N1 I am taking it as 1. What is the net EMF over there? Net EMF will be, because there will be EMF dropped over here, it is E1. It will be E2. What is total EMF? Total EMF will be E1 plus E2. So therefore, I can write total EMF E will be equal to sum of E1 and E2. E1 and E2 you can substitute here. That is minus L1 di1 by dt minus M12 di2 by dt minus of L2 di2 by dt minus M21 into di1 divided by dt, right? So if you calculate this total, however, di, rate of change of current in both the cases will be same, because in series connection I will be same. So I will be just writing it as minus, I can take it common, di by dt is also constant, I'll just write it out. It will be L1 plus M21 plus L2 plus this is 1 2 and it is M21. However, M21 and M12 both magnitudes will be same. We already have seen that it is minus di by dt into L1 plus L2 plus 2 times mutual induction N. So whenever you are taking two inductors in series, then EMF induced will be E into minus of this total. So this you can compare with minus di by dt into L effective. So if you compare these two equations, what you are getting? L effective will be equal to L1 plus L2 plus 2M. So when two coils are connected in series, the effective EMF will be because of self-induction and as well as mutual induction. If the two coils are closer, mutual induction could not be avoided. And in such cases, you need to add that 2M when two inductors are connected in series. So you can take two inductors which are connected in series, but they are bent in this way. Current in the first inductor is right side, current in the second inductor is left side. In such case, you can write total L effective will be equal to L1 plus L2 minus 2 times mutual inductance here. Okay. So if current is in the same direction in both the inductors, then L effective can be written as L1 plus L2 plus 2 times M. And this additional term which is included is called coupling constant. It is called coupling constant.